And it's Arcanine PC. We're by far the greatest team that the world has ever seen. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You can call me Kai Guy. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. If this is your first time here, then a big, very special welcome to you. I am your coach of the Arcanine Pokemon Club. That is Arcanine PC for short. And we are here for our Week 4 battle in Season 5 of the NBA's Swarm Division. And we are taking on Martin and their very, very scary team. I will make sure that there is a picture up on screen for you guys so you can kind of see what Pokemon Martin could be potentially bringing, as well as we will then break down the Pokemon that I'm going to be bringing this week, as well as their movesets. Before we jump onto that, though, make sure you guys subscribe if y'all are new around here, because it lets me know that you really enjoy this Draft League content, and we're trying to hit 900 subs by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate if you could help me out. And then that lets me know you want me to keep making Draft League videos, so it helps me out a bunch. So just something to keep in mind. I appreciate it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Martin's team. They have a very, very solid team, starting off with their Mega Scizor, Chi-Yu, Ting-Lu, which is one of their Terra captains, Latias, Primarina, Nihilego, Enamorous Therian form, Serena, and the scariest one on their entire team, Doduo. Oh, and I forgot to mention Serena is their other Terra captain. Very, very solid team on their part. They have two of the Treasures of Ruin, Chi-Yu to blow stuff up, and Ting-Lu to take some hits. Although they've been running offensive Ting-Lu a lot, and it's been putting in work. And your boy had it last year, so I know that Mon's good. Also, Mega Scizor is just terrifying. Like, nothing ever wants to go up against a Mega Scizor, except maybe a certain Pokemon on our team. Latias is always annoying. Same with Primarina, just because of their pretty good typing and offensive stats. Nihilego could be annoying if it sets up Toxic Spikes or gets a Meteor Beam sweep going. The Enamorous, I don't foresee them bringing this week, just because I don't feel like it matches up great with my team outside of my my Garchomp. Serena, I'm very scared about offensive Serena with Rapid Spin and maybe Terra Ice Triple Axle. That could be annoying. And then Doduo is just a demon. I don't know what y'all want from me. But that is their team. Of the 6 I think they bring, I think Scizor, Chi-Yu, Ting-Lu, probably Serena, Nihilego, Primarina. I think that would be my personal assumption. But that's just my opinion, so maybe they're cooking up something different. Cooking it up, you know how it goes. Let's go ahead and break down the 6 we're bringing this week. Starting with Behemoth the Garchomp, holding that loaded dice with Swords Dance, Substitute, Scale Shot, and the Earthquake. So, thoughts behind this moveset. Pretty standard offensive Chomp. Swords Dance boosts our attack by 2 stages and lets us to be a bit more powerful. Substitute is here in case we can get subbed up on something like a Latias, something like a Nihilego. Substitute could also be good if we get set up on something like a Chi-Yu that has gone for Overheat. So we got a couple of options there. And if they're not Triple Axle on the Serena, we might be able to sub up on that as well. I would imagine they bring it, because if I see Garchomp, I bring the Ice move, but it's an idea. Scale Shot is there to increase our speed. It does still lower our defense, but whatever. And thanks to loaded dice, as long as we hit that 90% accurate move, we will be getting at least 4 hits every time, which is very nice. Earthquake does good damage to my opponent's team as well. Does good damage to Chi-Yu, to Nihilego. Can do good damage to the Primarina. The Scale Shot covers the Latias. Ting-Lu doesn't want to take a couple of Earthquakes from +2. The only issue is this Garchomp cannot hit the Enamorous Therian. But they've only brought it once this season, so I don't foresee them bringing it against me, because I feel like the matchup for me against me isn't that great. So ideally, it's not here. We don't have to even worry about that. We can't touch that thing, but we'll see. So that's going to be Garchomp this week, rocking the max attack with a Jolly Nature 240 speed and 16 HP. Enough speed to guarantee outspeed a non-Scarf Ting-Lu, because Ting-Lu will, I believe, hit 329 or 328, and then Garchomp hits 330. Let me just double check. Yes, so Garchomp, so the Ting-Lu, I believe, hits 328. So we would want to get 329 outspeed, because that's a jump point, though we can't, so we have to bump up to 330. But either way, we guarantee outspeed that. The only things on their team that outspeed my Garchomp before it gets to +1 would be a Nihilego and the Latias if it's max speed. Or Speedcraft, you get what I'm saying. So we were able to put the rest of that into 16 HP EVs. But that's going to be Behemoth this week. Next up is our Chi-Yu answer, Aqua Tank, the Alumamola, holding the Assault Vest with Regenerator, and the moves Flip Turn, Knock Off, Aqua Jet, Liquidation. So this is kind of just here to be my guaranteed Chi-Yu check. Depending on the moveset they're running, which I feel like either Specs or Scarf Chi-Yu makes a lot of sense into my team. Flip Turn into Liquidation has a pretty high chance to knock them out. And if they are Scarf or Specs, we have Knockoff there to get rid of that item and make them a little bit weaker or a little bit slower for the rest of our team to either take a hit or revenge thanks to outspeeding them. But yeah, Flip Turn and Liquidation should KO. Flip Turn into Aqua Jet also is close to KOing, so that's helpful as well. And then this also is helpful for something like the Ting Lu before it Terras, getting off some decently okayly strong, and I say okayly, but it's basically no damage to taking water moves. But yeah, so it's mainly here for Chi-Yu, but it can do other things too. It could also pick off a low Nihilego with a Focus Sash with Aqua Jet, which could be helpful. So it's got some practicality to it, but it's mainly here to be a Chi-Yu answer, which is why it's max HP and max speed def, as high speed def as we can go with a Sassy Nature, making sure we are able to boost that speed def even higher. So that's going to be Aqua Tank this week, trying to make sure we have a Chi-Yu answer, because that mon is terrifying. Next up, we got Leechgrave, the Ogre Pond Cornerstone, holding the Cornerstone Mass with the Sturdy ability, and Spikes, U-Turn, Knockoff, and Ivy Cudgel for the moves. We've got 200 speed on this thing, as well as max attack and a good amount of HP. This guarantees the outspeed on a max speed Nihilego. It would speed tie with a Latias if we went max speed, so that's why I figured we might as well just ignore that and just go for the absolute, like, little bit of extra bulk that we could get there. Because honestly, the speed tie could just be shenanigans, and maybe we can live one if we're a little bit bulkier and he's not offensive, so we've got that going for us. Plus, with our Sturdy, we'll guarantee live any one hit, so that's helpful as well. Spikes are here to get those up on my opponent's side of the field. The only thing on their side that is immune to them, well, actually two things, would be the Latias and the Enamorous. Outside of that, and then the Doduo, of course, because that's guaranteed coming. But everything else will be taking spike damage unless they run heavy duty boots, and he's got a couple of ways of removing hazards. He's got Mega Scissor Defog, which I doubt he brings. Latias could have Defog, which seems like his most likely way of removing hazards, because I really feel like he wants the offensive Serena this week. He could still run Rapid Spin on it with like Assault Vest and like Triple Axle, Power Web, Play Rough or something. But I feel like it's Latias that's going to be the more defensive mon this week and bring that Defog. So we'll go ahead and hopefully we can make that work. U-Turn's also here for momentum, Knockoff to remove items, and Ivy Cudgel does very good damage. So it's kind of the strat at the moment. Max attack, a little bit of HP, and then that 200 speed to guarantee outspeed Nihilego. Next up is our scissor answer. We got Red Hot Chili, the Moltres, holding the heavy duty boots with Flame Body, and the moves, Roost, Defog, Flamethrower, U-Turn. It is very hard to speak this afternoon, and I'm not sure why. We got max HP on this, 148 defense and 112 speed. This is to speed creep a... what was it? I believe it was a max speed Zarina. I believe this speed creeps max speed Serena to make sure we can outspeed that, because if for some reason they run Terra Rock, we can freely U-turn out on it. But yeah, this will outspeed max speed Serena before a rapid spin speed boost and be able to take that on. Plus, if it doesn't have Terra on it, then a flamethrower from my Moltres will hurt quite a bit. This is also a very good scissor check. It's basically one of the best scissor checks in the game. Anytime scissor goes for U-turn or bullet punch, two of its bread and butter moves, it has a 30% chance to get burned. And unlike previous scissors, this one cannot hold the protective pads, so that 30% is going to be proccing every single time. So that is kind of our plan with Moltres here. Roost for healing, Defog to remove hazards, because I feel like Ting Lu brings those, or maybe Nihilego. Flamethrower for damage, U-turn to keep on momentum. That is our current plan. Next up is Storm Rider, our Thunderous Therian, holding the Expert Belt with Volt Absorb, and the moves Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, Terra Blast, and U-turn. U-turn is here for momentum. Primarily, if something comes in like the Ting Lu or the Chi-Yu, I can go for my momentum on that. Keep that up on my side of the field. Terra Blast, we're rocking the Terra Fire this week, mainly for the Mega Scizor, honestly. It also is helpful for Serena before it Terras, and if it goes Terra Ice on it with Triple Axle, then we are able to outspeed and KO with a Terra Fire Terra Blast, so that's pretty helpful. Grass Knot is also here for the Ting Lu before it Terras. It doesn't really do much to the rest of the team. I guess it could do a little bit of an amount to Primarina, but like, there's no universe where I don't click Thunderbolt against Primarina. So everything else we can click Thunderbolt on, which is nice. The only thing that sucks is for the Terra Fire is that we're still a little bit weak to the Nihilego, because it can go for a Power Gem into us because we're going to be fire and it'll be super effective. But hopefully it doesn't come down to that. We have 8 HP on this, max special attack, and a good amount of speed with a timid nature. Just enough speed to outspeed, again, a max speed Chi-Yu, so that way we can guarantee outspeed his main special attacking threat. So that is going to be Storm Rider this week, and our Expert Belt will boost our super effective damage, so hopefully we can get that off. And finally, we've got Pink Concerto, the Tapu Lele, holding the leftovers with Psychic Surge, and the moves Moonblast, Toxic, Psyshock, Focus Blast. Rocking the max HP, max Spadef Tapu Lele this week, mainly for Latias, as well as possibly Primarina. But mainly for the Lati, to be honest. Because Latias answers right now don't really exist on my team, outside of maybe Storm Rider if it's like Bolt Beam. But if it's not Bolt Beam, then we have issues. So that's why we're rocking Pink Concerto as specially defensive this week. We can Toxic that Latias, make sure it gets whittled down. Moonblast will also do a good chunk to it. Something like the Nihilego might switch in as well, or the Ting-Lu, or the Chi-Yu, or the Scizor, and we can catch each of those with a Focus Blast. And then Psyshock is just here to boost, get a good damage hit off in Psychic Terrain. So hopefully we can make that work. But there's a lot of Pokemon that are weak to the Focus Blast this week. I thought about rocking the Terra Fight on Thundy, but I ended up deciding against it. I really thought about going offensive Lele as well, and I think I did have that for a while. But at the same time, Latias is such a problem that I had to rock something with a bit more Spadef. And Tapu Lele is base 115, so it's something at the very least. And this can kind of 1v1. So hopefully we'll be able to make that work. We're rocking the max HP, Calm Nature, max Spadef, teensy tiny little bit of the special attack here. That's gonna be the team we're bringing for Martin. Let me know what you guys think of the team we're bringing. Let me know down in the comments. And what would you have done differently? Make sure to let me know that as well. I think I've held you guys long enough, so let's go ahead and jump into the battle. I will see you all in just a moment. All right, we are back. Got all connected with Martin, had the battle. And this is going to be our little breakdown of the replay. Looking at their team, we see Nihilego, the Scizor, Mega Scizor, of course, Ting-Lu, Chi-Yu, Primarina, and Latias. So no Serena is honestly very surprising, but welcomed. I'm honestly very okay with that. I also forgot to mention this. Our current record is 2-1, while Martin is currently 3-0. So if we win this week, we're going to be tied for first place when it comes to record in the division. So that could be quite helpful for us when it comes to our playoff seeding and stuff. So hopefully we're able to make that work. Looking at Martin's team, possible leads. Could just lead with the Primarina if it's got Flip Turn. Same thing with the Scizor to get the Mega Evolution off. Could also lead Nihilego to get off some Toxic Spikes if it has those. Thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I feel like the lead into the Ting-Lu or the Nihilego makes the most sense. So I think I end up leading with either my, I think I end up leading with my Leech Grave here. I think I end up leading with Ogerpon. So let's go ahead and take a look. They do lead the Prim, as I do lead my Pawn. So honestly, looking at this, I can just freely fire off a Hornleech if I want. I can freely fire an Ivy Cudgel if I want. I can go ahead and set up a Spike. I can knock off. Honestly, like, my turn is kind of free. So, looking at that, they can freely go for Flip Turn if they want to, but if they do, they're probably going to take a lot of damage from this. So, I don't expect them to want to stay in exactly. They still might and try and get a Flip Turn off on me, but it doesn't seem likely. So, I believe they are just going to go ahead and hard swap here, and they do, as I'm freely just able to keep up momentum with my U-turn. So that's very nice, and I can freely bring in my Moltres because there is no universe that a Scizor wants to be in on a Moltres, especially when it cannot hold protective pads. So there is no chance he stays in right here. He could have knockoff, I guess, and really be ballsy, but Mega Scizor is kind of pretty good into my team, outside of maybe Aloe and this Mon. So chip on this is good for him. But not enough to the point where you sack your Mega Scizor. So I don't anticipate him staying in here. I anticipate the hard swap here, as he does, and I'm going to U-turn to keep up momentum because there ain't no way you're staying in on that. So I'm going to bring in my Garchomp right here, nice and free. This is a 4 times a week Pokemon to my ground type attack, so honestly, I don't see a reason to not click Earthquake. As we see, he packs the D-Gleam, but it's only doing about 74%, which is good. So Garchomp is still at an HP where it can make a substitute, which is kind of important, honestly. But they are Life Orb on this, and we see that they do drop to my Earthquake. So honestly, one of the biggest threats to my team is gone already. Everything else sort of has an answer. So the fact that that's gone is really, really nice. Also, I forgot to check. They are Terra Ghost on the Ting-Lu. Okay, so that's interesting. Maybe to... I don't have a... I was going to say block Rapid Spin, but I don't have a spinner. Oh, it's probably for Lele to be super effective into Lele. That makes sense. I feel like Terra Steel's better? No, maybe not. I don't know. Either way, the most threatening mon on my team is gone, which is what I'm very happy about. They can freely bring in the Lottie right here if they choose to do so. This does outspeed me if they are max speed because they hit 350. My max is 333, and I'm not even max speed. I'm 330 to outspeed Chi-Yu. So if they want to just go for this, they can. I think I do end up making the swap into my Lele because this is my switch into Latias every time. And we see they're just going to go ahead and click the Mist Ball. I don't think... I'm trying to remember if they were offensive Lottie or not. If they have Mist Ball, that tells me probably not. Because why would you not run Psychic when Mist Ball, I believe, is weaker? But I can't remember exactly. We'll check their sets at the end. But Tapu Lele took absolutely nothing from that. They do get special attack drop, which is a bit annoying. But thanks to our leftovers, we were able to heal that off a little bit. Primarina comes in right here as I'm just going to double out into my Aloe here to reset my special attack. This thing really cannot do much to me. Even if it specs, I should live basically any hit. So I'm just going to go ahead and click Flip Turn. As they go for the Reflect right here, I always can defog those away with Moltres. And hey, I have a Thunderous right here, which I don't think you want to match up against very well. So I will be going out into it. So Thunderbolt has a chance to kill depending on their moveset. If they're max HP, max speed, I think it's a roll in my favor. If they're like fully invested, max HP, max SPDF, Assault Vest, then it should two-shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and I don't know why I said go ahead twice. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Thunderbolt. And it does Oko from full. Like, holy crap, Storm Rider, you are a demon. That mon's going to drop. And that Reflect is up still, but that means they don't set a light screen, which is very, very good for me because Thundy is how we win this game, and Thundy does not have to worry about there being a light screen up, which is very, very nice for me. In comes the Ting Lu. Had a feeling that I would see that in a moment. I can just freely U-turn out on it if I feel like it, and I do. And since he is still a Dark type, he has not Terra'd yet, that will be super effective. My switch in is probably, in this case, either the Ogerpon or the Garchomp. As I do go Chomp on this guy, as he's just going to Throat Chop me, and that did some damage. Like, I know Ting Lu has a surprising amount of attack, but I believe I did some calcing, and that has to be Choice Band. So he is Choice Band Ting Lu this week, which is kind of heat. I can't even lie. Choice Band Ting Lu is kind of heat. Garchomp's going to drop. It got its KO, so it did what it set out to do. I can freely bring in my Lele right here. If he wants to go ahead and Terra, that's fine. As he is going to Terra Ghost, as I'm going to go ahead and get a Toxic off on this guy. And the Throat Chop is going to do a lot to me, but I think this is worth it for me based on what I've seen. Oh, no, he is offensive Lottie because he is Life Orb. This was a misplay on my part then. I definitely should not have gone into my Lottie check when Lottie is still very scary into my team. I guess if they're Life Orb, they're probably not Calm Mind, which is good. But I definitely still need this around for Lottie, so this was a misplay on my part for sure. I do get my Toxic off, so that thing getting whittled down is very helpful. Honestly, I'm okay with that. And then they pivot into Scizor right here. On a Lele, which is a good switch on their part, but that's taking a little bit of chip. It's taking a little bit of chip right there. And I can freely hard stop into my Moltres every time. I have no reason not to. If they want to go ahead and click U-turn, that's fine. They have a 30% chance. Not going to get it. That's fine. In comes the Ting Lu once again. I'm assuming it packs a rock move. I can't see a universe where it doesn't. But I also know that I guarantee will outspeed. So I can just go ahead and Yui on out of here. And then the play here is to either probably bring in Lele as a sack. Otherwise, I could also bring in my Leechgrave. I think Leechgrave is the route I decided to go, and it is. As we see, they do pack the Rock Slide. And because that is not Stab, even if it's Choice Band, I'm still able to eat it pretty comfortably. So now I can just freely either set up a Spike or go for U-turn, keep momentum. So the world is my oyster at the moment. They're going to bring in the Mega Scizor. Good play on their part. As I'm just going to click Knockoff. Probably made the worst of the 4 plays I could have made right there. But it's fine. I feel like keeping the momentum and bringing in Moltres probably would have been smarter, especially because my Psychic Terrain ends this turn. So if they have BP, they can go for it. But again, like, Leechgrave doesn't really do much in this game at this point, so honestly, I'm not too upset by that. But speaking of doing stuff in this game and the opposite of what Leechgrave does, Moltres never does not come in on Scizor. Roost all you want. I have no reason to not just click U-turn right here. You do not stay in. You do not. All right, the Demon has hit the field. Why did I click Flamethrower? U-turn was literally free. The Demon hits the field. Alumo was my switching 100% of the time. They go for the Dark Pulse, 29%. They are basically guaranteed to be Scarf, because Specs does way more. They have to be Modest Choice Scarf based on the calcs I was doing. That has to be the case. I don't think there's any other universe that where they could have a different set than that. So Flip Turn is just free. They should not stay in right here because a Flip Turn into Aqua Jet absolutely KOs them. I flip right here into the Lottie, and then that is a free switch into my Lele to get some extra lefties back. That's very helpful. So they could just fire off another attack right here, but Miss Ball did not do much to me. I think it only did about 11% last time, so we'll be able to eat. And they are just going to make the pivot into the Scizor, but honestly, I'm okay with this because I can fire off a Moonblast, get a little bit of chip, and then that will do a good amount to Lottie if they decide to stay in. And because there's no reason why, even if like you bring in Scizor on Lele, you can hard double if you want to, but then I just, as I bring in my Moltres, but like then I just go Tapu, or my Alomomola, because I'm assuming you bring in the Chi-Yu. So there's no reason why I just don't go Moltres every time. 30%, not going to get it. In comes the Lottie, and I'm just going to, again, hey Lele, what's up? I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. The Miss Ball does 20% right there. The Lottie is taking Life Orb chip. It is now taking a good amount of damage. It's about 71%. So a Moonblast, even at -1, still will do good damage. They're going to Roost right here. And I'm just going to say F it and click the Moonblast. And that does about half. So if they want to Miss Ball again, they can into Roost. But I think if I Toxic, I kind of win this 1v1. Especially after getting that drop. That's a huge drop. I do lose my Psychic Terrain, but they are going to make the hard swap right here, as I'm going to go ahead and click Moonblast again. Doing 0, but hello, Moltres. And then Lele is also getting leftovers back, so we're at a decent HP point again. I pivot into Moltres every time, as they're going to Roost, and I can just freely Flame right now. I have no reason not to click it. I have 0 reason not to click Flame. I keep up getting some chip on this thing. If it wants to Roost, then it's more than welcome to do so. As you see, it's just going to Miss Ball. I eat, and then I can just freely U-turn out and get this KO. HP on Moltres does not matter because it's mainly here for Scizor. I can always Roost on that if it doesn't Bullet Punch, and I should live a Bullet Punch from neutral Scizor anyway. So HP on Moltres does not matter at the moment. It will be nice to get a Roost up on it, but for now we're good to just KO that Lottie, so I'm okay with that. And now Lele is kind of useless, and I know that, so I'm just kind of stacking it at this point. Whatever they want to bring in, they're welcome to do so. As we see, the Chi-Yu comes in, and it is going to click Dark Pulse. Thank you for your service, Tapu Lele. I can just freely go my Aloe, though, and just drop either a Flip Turn or a Liquidation. I have no reason not to. As I see the bring in the Tinglu, I'm going to keep up my momentum with Flip Turn. This thing's going to take more Toxic damage. My Ogerpon comes in. And I can just freely go ahead and click the Ivy Cudgel right here and KO the Tinglu. That Mon is gone. That is perfect. In comes the Chi-Yu. Something's got to die. Thank you for your service, Ogerpon. And it's going to be you. Gets that Dark Pulse off. That's fine. But once again, Psychic Terrain is gone now. And I can just freely go ahead and either click Flip Turn into Aqua Jet or Liquidation into Aqua Jet. I have no reason not to. They go for the Dark Pulse right here. I get my Liquidate off. And it lives with 5%. But I do pack that Aqua Jet. So I'm able to pick off the Chi-Yu. Alomomola picking up a KO. What an actual goat. In comes the Scizor. It has to. And I can just freely Flip Turn right out into my Moltres. They go for a U-turn right there. I get a crit. But that's fine. I can either pivot into Moltres or my Thundy. Thundy probably makes more sense because it's at more HP. So I'm going to pivot right here into my Thundurus Therian. I am Terrafire. So I can click that nice Terrafire Terra Blast, and that is going to be one roasted Mega Scizor as your Arcanine Pokemon Club. Pick up that hashtag Dubsky and move to 3-1 on the season. And we are currently tied record-wise for top record in the division, which is very, very awesome to see. We'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say, but it was a nice dub. We got a nice little +3 differential win. Feel like we played pretty well overall. So GG's to Martin. That was a great game. Had a good time playing it. So we'll be back here next week with week number 5. We are currently 3-1 and taking on, you know him, you love him. I'm pretty sure it's next week's battle, right? Yes, it is. We're taking on my boy Lethal Blue. The rematch from last year where he beat me in a narrow. I think it was a narrow 2-0 in last year's division. We did not get the run back in finals, unfortunately. So this will be our run back. So I'm gonna be taking on Mr. Lethal Blue next week, which I'm very excited about. You guys know him, you love him, good friend. Super excited for that, but we'll be back here next week for that battle. Again, GG's to Martin, your Arcanine Pokemon Club, your Arcanine PC. Pick up that Dubsky to move to 3-1. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Definitely subscribe if you all are new around here, and leave a like on the video because it helps me out a ton. I will see you all next week for another exciting battle here in the NBA. Until then, I'm gonna leave you all with this. Peace.